Hearing none, I'm going to turn over to Mrs. High for governance.
This is, our meeting really was based on looking at policy and things that we have to update. One of the things that came up was just the cell phone policy. And we had a presentation where we were given three options. One was new case, one was lockup, and one was called doorman. And it was just methods of dealing with the, cell phones usage, what we do with it, etc. So this is something that the committee is going to look into further so that when we are ready to just put that into action, we'll be all ready. Um, Again, we looked up just a number of new policies are coming up, and we also were talking about the new modular building. Just there will be a ribbon cutting ceremony, and building will be named, and just looking at having some people, media come in and take a look at it. And I'll tell you, just driving by, it just makes me smile because it's just moving along so nicely. And that really is it for the governance committee.
Thank you, Sue. Any questions on governance? All right. Next committee up is Human Resources. Mrs. High.
And again, we had a pretty active meeting. One of the things right away was we always look at the personnel status and updates as to what we need. Right now, there are, or as of our meeting, there were 26 open positions. All have been posted. And we are also presently in the interviewing process, so we want to get just a handle on that, as early as we can. One of the things that they're changing with that, with the interview policy, which is they're going to be creating a task for those who are being interviewed, and those who go into second round interviews too. It's kind of hard right now with no students being in, but often it would be, a demonstration lesson, involving students, etc. And also looking to carry that also to the assessments, administrative assistant assessments. And that is to really come up with some sort of task content that the candidates can really kind of show their talents in the interviewing process. We also looked over job descriptions, and those were for administrative assistants to the superintendent, just confidential secretaries, student facilitators, and licensed social workers. We are presently in negotiations with the administrative team and also getting ready to, we have with the Education Association also. The last thing I have here, and it's exciting, we talked about, we're always trying to look for things to get the kids involved with, and it's wonderful when they come to us too. But we did get some information from Mr. Steele. There are 61 students from the middle school, Smalley, and Robert Morris School, which really makes me feel good that we're having that connection with Southbound Brook. And it really is to look for middle school football. We're very excited about that because middle school football obviously will feed into the high school football. So we'll look forward to that and keep you posted as to when we get new information. Okay, and that's it.
Thank you, Mrs. High. Just one comment from me to make sure everybody's on the same page. The open positions that Sue noted at 26 includes the new positions that we added to the budget for the coming school year as well. So I know we ended this year's recruitment in the low single digits, and just don't want anybody to think that somehow that's gone haywire. Any other thoughts or comments on human resources? Okay, we're going to give Sue a break and we're going to go over to Roger for operations.
Okay, operations, thank you, Mr. President. Operations was brief. We spoke a little bit about our custodial services, Pritchard, and some issues that we were dealing with the company with renewals. We also talked to steal some thunder from the Tide, the new modular building, how we are very impressed and how we are excited that this is going to be offered to our students. Also went over the new yearbook. The board wants to thank the administrative staff of the high school and anyone who gave input for the new yearbook. The layout is phenomenal, and it's really happy. I got several compliments on that. So the yearbook, we just want to continue to do great work with that. And finally, we talked about something that was interesting. That's the cell phone ban through the state. Some considerations on how we're going to address that in relation to a possible app or a new case or whatever the case may be. So the administrative team will keep the board abreast of what direction we're going to be going in. And that was pretty much it, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Zupko. One thing I will point out is I think we did a pretty good job on the cell phone side with connecting the dots across committees. So governance committee took up the what do we want the policy to be, but operations took up what is the financial impact of whatever policy decision we make. And I just think it's a nice example when we're connecting the dots across those committees. So good job, guys. And good job to our administrator. Any questions from Mr. Zupko on operations? Okay, then we are back with Mrs. Hyde for the SCESC report.
So this was a longer meeting because they have their reorganization meeting at the end of June to start in July. So it just was meeting the representative assembly and the board of directors, looking at commission finances, the professional services, and the programming of the Educational Services Commission. I'm happy and proud to be serving on their executive committee and also serving as a delegate for them. After that, we had our regular meeting with the superintendent's report, and I had mentioned before that they have a K-5 autism class, and this is something that they saw a need from districts. They did have they had the price tag, and it's $88.5 if you are in the county. If you are out of the county, it's $90. But they are accepting students, and they continually have students come for that. They're looking to expand it next year to add yet another classroom, and they are starting up on August 7th. ESC took a trip to the beach with the kids. The kids loved it, and for some of them, it's the first time they've been to the ocean. So they had a wonderful time. The cafe update, the executive committee toured VOTEC and then just shared the findings of what was going on at VOTEC with the architect. And they then, put suggestions into their plans. And it's going to be a full kitchen. And they will initially have a chef there. But the cafe goals, they want to expand the cooking. Every student there is on free and reduced lunch. And they want it to be that they can feed the students within the school and ultimately have some sort of, kitchen prep cooking type of program for the students. It will also be used for intakes when students come in to have parents and the child study teams sitting around where they'll have light refreshments and just serve them there. They're also looking to provide staff lunches that they can just swipe a credit card and they won't, if they don't want to, they can get their lunch there rather than going out and bringing it in. They are downsizing the ShopRite aspect of it, but they are still keeping it there. Also in negotiations with the administrative team and starting in with the teaching staff as well. And that is all.
That's a great report, and just let me say congratulations on joining the executive committee. I think it is another example, not only of the commitment that you've made, but us as a board, of really expanding our reach and influence outside of the school district. So thank you for continuing to make that effort and the commitments here. Any questions on the SCESC report? All right, Mr. Incalcaterra, anything for Southbound Brook?
RMS had a successful field day and a PTO ice pop handout over a 2-day period, followed by the 8th grade graduation, which the weather held out stellarly for and went rather well. Other than that, I just need number 7 added to the executive.
Sounds good. All right, any questions for Mr. Incalcatera? Okay. Any other comments or questions on committees in general? All right. We will move on to item 5.1. In accordance with District Policy 0167, public participation in board meetings. Members of the public are required to sign in at the podium, providing their name, address, and group affiliation if applicable. When addressing the board, please state your name and address and limit comments to agenda items only for this time, directed to the presiding officer. Each participant is allowed to speak for 3 to 5 minutes, and no individual may address the same topic more than once until all others wishing to speak have had an opportunity to do so. At this time, we are open to the public for agenda items only. All right. Hearing none, we will move on to item 6.1. Be it resolved that the Bound Brook Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, approves the minutes for the following Board of Education meetings. The regular and executive committee meeting minutes of May 20th, 2026. May I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Incalcatera. A second? Thank you, Mr. Zupko. Any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Lee, can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Ms. Gazino? Ms. High?
Yes.
Mr. Incaputera? Mr. Januzzi?
Yes.
Mr. Minhas? Mr. Volmer? Mr. Zupko? Motion passes.
Great. Item 6.2, be it resolved that the Bound Brook Board of Education, upon recommendation of the superintendent, approves the minutes for the following meetings, special board and executive meeting minutes for June 15th, 2026. May I have a motion? Thank you, Mrs. High. A second. Thank you, Mr. Incalcatera. Any discussion? I will just say thank you to everybody for making the time to attend that meeting on relatively short notice. It's necessary to keep us on track with some of our deliverables. And I was super happy that the entire board made it. With that being said, Ms. Lee, can we have a roll call, please?
Certainly, Ms. Gazino? Ms. High?
Yes.
Mr. Incaputera? Mr. Januzzi?
Yes.
Mr. Minhas? Mr. Volmer? Mr. Zupko? Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 7.1, be it resolved that the superintendent recommends for approval the resolutions as outlined in district personnel resolutions. This is items 7.1 through 7.56. May I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Incalcatera. A second? Thank you, Mrs. High. Any discussion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Gazino? Ms. High?
Yes.
Mr. Incaputera? Mr. Januzzi?
Yes, with the exception of 7.1515, for which I abstain.
Mr. Minhas? Mr. Volmer? Mr. Zupko? Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving right along. Item 8.1, be it resolved that the Bound Brook Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in district education resolutions. This is item 8.1 through 8.9. May I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Zupko. A second? Thank you, Mrs. Guzino. Any discussion? Please, Mr. Zupko.
On 8.6, the disposal of out-of-date curriculum materials, just what happens? How is that disposed of and where does it go? Do we have a company that does it or do we do it ourselves? Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Griffin, and thank you for the question, Mr. Zupko. Any other questions? All right. Hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
So, Ms. Spazino, Mr. Hyde,
Yes.
Mr. Incapital, Mr. Januzzi,
Yes.
Mr. Minhas, Mr. Vollmer, Mr. Zupko. Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 9.1, be it resolved that the Bound Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in board action resolutions. This is items 9.2 through 9.45. May I have a motion? Thank you, Mrs. Hyatt. Second. Thank you, Mr. Minhas. Any discussion?
I'm always impressed with the grants because I just know the amount of work that goes into it. And there's one here because one of our goals is to be involved with the community. And it's just so nice to see this because this is a substantial grant for the literacy initiative for families in the community. Just very, very nice to see that. And again, thank you for the work that goes into applying for that and following through and all the documentation. It's a tremendous amount of work, so it's very much appreciated.
Well said, Mrs. Hyatt. Thank you to the team. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Sure, Ms. Spazino, Mr. Hyde,
Yes.
Mr. Incapital, Mr. Januzzi,
Yes.
Mr. Minhas, Mr. Vollmer, Mr. Zupko. Motion passes.
Thank you. We are up to, moving right along. Other matters to come before the board, which I have not received any, which brings us to new business. Anything that the board members would like to raise at this time that hasn't otherwise been noted? Mr.
Just
Zupko.
like to give a shout out to our girls softball team for the incredible job that they've done getting as far as they have gotten, and to the coaching staff, to the parents, to the community in general. So we're just so proud of you, and keep up the great work.
Well said. And I think we're planning to invite the softball team to our July meeting so that we have an opportunity to honor them in person as well. Yeah, Mrs. Hyatt.
I just thought so. Never mind.
No worries.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. So, what I was going to say is, June is such an extremely busy time, but how nice it's been to just watch the kids and watch the staff with the sports dinners, with the state seal for bilingual, for all the graduations. It's just so nice to see, and that is when you get to see the kids and they're so excited, and then you see all the parents at these things, and there's just so much pride. It makes me feel good being here because it's just a very, very positive thing.
All right. Any other matters for new business? Okay. So at this time, we are up to item 12.1, open to the public for participation. So again, in accordance with District Policy 0167, public participation in board meetings, members of the public are required to sign in at the podium, providing their name, address, and group affiliation if applicable. When addressing the board, please state your name and address and limit comments to, no, you don't have to limit comments at this point, directed to the presiding officer. Each participant is allowed 3 to 5 minutes to speak. No individual may address the same topic more than once until all others wishing to speak have had an opportunity to do so. At this time, I invite anybody to the podium that would like to make public comment.
Would you please sign in, please?
We on? Yeah. Sean Driscoll, 453 Vossler Avenue, Bound Brook. 5 weeks ago, I stood at this podium and described an incident at Multicultural Night on June 12th, 2025. That was the first chapter of the violent episode my 13-year-old son endured while under the care of the Bound Brook School District. 5 days after Multicultural Night, the Multicultural Night incident, where Yusan Powell and Tamisha Smith harassed and threatened my son, they orchestrated an assault on my son and walking home from school. The assault occurred on West 2nd Street near Van Kuren and Fairview Avenues. They engaged a third party, a nephew, most likely a high school student, to commit the assault. Taking a page from the low-life handbook, the cowardly pair used a minor to shield themselves from potential consequences. They hunted my son, and when they found him, Smith proclaimed, "I told you we would find you," referring to threats they made at Smalley School at Multicultural. While the masked teenager beat my son, Powell stood nearby to ensure the desired outcome. Powell told my son, "I run this town." He also stated, "I told you this would happen," another reference to threats made on Multicultural Night. The only thing Powell runs is from adults that will hold him accountable. When the police show up to question him, he runs and hides. Yusan Powell is, however, very comfortable on school property. I witnessed and photographed him waiting outside Smalley School and in the vicinity of students leaving the building at dismissal. The photo is available on the Bound Brook Parents Facebook page. This isn't surprising behavior given the lack of consequences imposed by Dr. Freeman with respect to the Multicultural Night incident. In the following days, they weren't on anybody's radar and were free to stalk my son. If some action had been taken, it is possible that the assault would have not occurred. The district is responsible for our children arriving home safely. They failed, and to make matters worse, Dr. Freeman gave Powell and Smith a pass for the second time. What I just read was a slightly edited version that I put on the parents' Facebook page about a week ago. And I had some advice for the parents. Don't count on the district to protect your children from physical harm under their watch. The numerous policies and procedures designed to supposedly protect our children are worthless in the hands of weak leadership in difficult situations. You are on your own. I also added some advice for the Bound Brook School District. And it's a quote from Adam Smith. "Mercy to the guilty is cruelty to the innocent." In the aftermath of the trauma my son endured, and to add insult to injury, I was met with a pattern of obstruction and indifference by the district in my attempts to investigate the matter. Some examples. More than 10 unanswered questions that were legitimate questions and some very simple, basic questions. Just ignored. Several unanswered emails, ignored, again, simply ignored and disregarded. In lieu of legitimate responses, I was given disinformation or misinformation. Take your pick. I was repeatedly given a corrupted and unreadable electronic document. My requests for readable copies have been ignored. The district requested an unnecessary extension request and then delivered an incomplete and substandard response to an OPA request. In an attempt to be clever, Kristen Lee resorted to word games, crafting a response to avoid the honest answer. Kristen Lee, in my advice to you, in your next attempt to be clever, read the room. Also, there were attempts to send me on a wild goose chase, direct me to file an unnecessary OPA request and go to IT when it wasn't applicable. Again, that would be Kristen Lee. And my favorite, the no, I know nothing response. Kristen Lee may know nothing with respect to this or any other matter, but her ignorance doesn't relieve her of the responsibility to pursue the matter. Next, a substantially flawed and incomplete HIB investigation that characterized the incident as inconclusive, and the district checked the box and moved on. How convenient. Meanwhile, there's an extensive police report based on a legitimate investigation that says otherwise. And more recently, a meeting with Dr. Freeman that lasted more than an hour. He took notes, reviewed, and discussed the contents of various documents and promised to provide answers. Right? There was also a promise to schedule a meeting with Kristen Lee. To date, no answers, no meeting. That meeting took place, when was it? June 3rd? Yeah, so 3 weeks ago. Right? That's when it was. I don't know if you're having it or not. At the conclusion of my presentation at the last meeting, I was assured that the board would investigate the multicultural night incident. Nothing much came of that, other than a meeting with lots of talk and no subsequent action. Now you're aware of the escalation of events following the multicultural night incident, where my son was stalked and beaten under the school district's watch. I expect a renewed effort by the board to determine why the administration has given these violent thugs that frequently visit school grounds a pass.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comments? All right, hearing none. Moving on to item 13.1. Be it resolved that the Bound Brook Board of Education enter executive session as allowed by NJSA 10:4-11 for the purposes noted in the agenda under items 1, 3, 5, 7, and 8. May I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Incalcatera. A second? Thank you, Mr. Zupko. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned to executive. Mr. Fittipaldi, we're good? Okay. All right, everybody. We are back in session. We are up to item 14.1. Be it resolved that the Boundbrook Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in approval of HIB cases under middle and elementary schools. This is just item 14.2. May I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Incalcatera. A second. Thank you, Mr. Minhas. Ms. Lee, a roll call, please.
Ms. Guzino? Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Mr. Incalcatera? Mr. Januzzi?
Yes.
Mr. Minhas? Mr. Ballmer? Mr. Zupko? Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 15.1, be it resolved that the Boundbrook Board of Education approves the resolutions as outlined in approval of HIB cases under high school. This is item 15.2. May I have a motion? Thank you, Mrs. High. Second, Mr. Minhas. Oh, Mr. Incalcatera. Thank you. Ms. Lee, a roll call, please.
Ms. Guzino? Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Mr. Incalcatera? Mr. Januzzi?
Yes.
Mr. Minhas? Mr. Ballmer? Mr. Zupko? Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 16.1, be it resolved that the Boundbrook Board of Education adjourns. A motion? I'm going to give it to Mrs. Guzino. Who's my second? Mr. Minhas. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.